What's up, Guru Nation? Welcome back to the clinicaltrialsguru.com. So I got a question today, and it's actually a really good one. It's from someone who wants to know, and they're confused about independent contractor versus employer contract in monitoring. So let me just read you the question. This is for you CRAs out there, or you potential CRAs, or even project managers for that matter. So I've been involved in clinical research for several years, worked in a variety of positions as a coordinator, associate to the project manager. I did some monitoring, but really as a backup, but it really inspired me to want to pursue monitoring, and I wanted to inquire your opinion on this. So, should I be an independent contractor or an employee? And if you're trying to break in, so first of all, it's good you actually have monitoring experience, which is really like 90% of the issue when it comes to potential CRAs that are interested in becoming monitors, but they don't have the experience. You don't have the textbook requirement 2 years experience, or maybe you do. I don't know. I didn't get enough of that context from the email, but you do have the experience. Okay, so you got that going for you. Honestly, at this point, you can't be picky about what you do. And I'm going to give you the breakdown of what I believe are the benefits, the pros and cons of being a contractor versus an employee. But in your case, if I was in your shoes, I would do whatever I can get first. If that's an independent contractor, fine. If it's an employee, fine. I wouldn't care. I'd apply to both. And then once you learn the business and get the experience, you can then choose. I would lean towards independent contractor just because number one, you can make more money. Number two, you feel more like an entrepreneur because you're sort of running your own company and you have more control over what projects you take, your workload, etc. Versus when you're an employee hired by a CRO, you're pretty much at the mercy of whatever your employer assigns you to, right? So that's the pros and cons. As an independent contractor, you get to pick what projects you want to work on. Okay, that's a pro. You get to have your own business, so you have write-offs. You're a 1099 tax status, right? So when you're an employee, you're a W-2. When you're an independent contractor, you get a 1099 form. You get to write off expenses, right? Like mileage, meals, and you get reimbursed for all these items also from the CRO, just like you would when you're an employee. But as an employee, you can't necessarily write those things off. Now, again, I'm no tax expert, but I do have a good amount of experience running companies. I've never in my adult life been an employee for anyone else other than my own companies. So I have received W-2 forms, but that was through my own companies. I've never had someone tell me necessarily what to do or what projects to assign me to. So if you're not an entrepreneur type of person, I would recommend you become an employee because the pros there are it's stable, right? You're less likely to be caught without having enough work and aka enough cash flow for yourself to pay your bills, which can happen as an independent contractor. So right now we're going through a period of time where there are a lot of projects out there, there's a lot of clinical trials, there's a huge demand for CRAs, but nothing stays the same ever, and the market could just as easily flip to where there's not a demand for CRAs. There's actually a surplus, which again, we're not in that time right now in 2016, but maybe in 2026 we are. And if you're an independent contractor, you're probably going to be the first one to not get reassigned to a contract because it's easier to lay you off just to cancel a contract. You don't even have to lay off an independent contractor. You just let the contract expire and you don't renew it versus an employee where the employer still has some incentives to not lay off that person, if that makes sense. So that's the differences. Right now, you can't be picky. You just apply to all of them. Apply to 100. Okay. One of my students just applied to from the CRA Academy. Just applied to 100 positions, over 100 positions. She said, and I'm looking forward to interviewing her soon. And she got hired, and it's a well-paying job. And I believe she's a W-2 employee. But that's the difference between an independent contractor and an employee CRA. You can make a lot more as an independent contractor, but You can't be picky in your situation right now because you don't necessarily have enough experience to dictate your own terms and the higher rate that you negotiate. All right, but get some experience under your belt, and then you can make the jump to independent contractor. Hopefully, this helps. Let me know if it doesn't. Thank you for watching Guru Nation. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.